Fear, all my life. Have you suffered it too? Starting life in a large family, Catholic and Irish, made me homophobic. Somehow it also made me racist and against mixed marriages on principle. The idea of my being different in any way from others began when I was 15 and 16. Still, I had no training, education about sex. At male schools, all I met were ideas and phobias common to the way my peers regarded the world in the 1950s. Suddenly, after years of experimentation with girls and many near misses, from pregnancies to adventures without any affection, I began to realize that I was not as others. Were there any like me out there? Or was I alone in the world with my feelings of wanting to see the same sex for more than social discussion? An article in the News of the World described a pub in Earl's Court as a place frequented by queers. The shock of discovering such a place existed made a complete change to my attitude to life. I went to Earl's Court and to that now empty pub, but there were others not far away, and I was able to observe the crowds at these pubs and how they appeared, ordinary, and not the ghastly images previously suspected by me from my experiences. The next 6 months were extremely exciting, and I learned about the life of the others and how they existed in a half-world, keeping far from any revelation of how they really felt about their fellow humans. Now commenced the life of fear of exposure. It was 1965, and the attitudes of the mass made it plain that all not straight were not to be trusted in any position of authority or power. This made me feel, whether actual or not, subject to living with the fear of blackmail and even dismissal from whatever post I might hold, under the suspicion that I was not to be trusted. Worse, I could suffer going to prison, or just prosecution for my actions. I fell in love, and finally, 55 years later, still am. But live a lie, and you're a liar. Suffer from that moment on. The fear of exposure. To whom? That's the problem. List all who view you as straight. Start with your family. Never in all my life did I discuss my sexuality with my parents. My siblings discovered over the next 10 years by accident. I never discussed the problem they or I had as a result. Even now, at my age, I'm becoming aware of my embarrassment at the exposure to the general public. That I am gay and the fear of exposure also attracts the position of a target for those at the extremes of attitudes, which I shared at one time myself. In September, I celebrated 55 years of a partnership. With all that I used to at Hall, can you imagine that I fell in love with a Goan? So my mixed race hatred is always facing the truth when we look in a mirror. All the years facing out and daring any accusation of gay to be made as a defense from all the prejudice and the homophobic feelings of my family and the public. How to remain a Catholic. The fear never goes away. Imagine my rage when I was called a racist by supposed peers. How strong you have to be to defeat fear and live with it. And I know many who share this problem. Thank you.